of skilled workers here in Lincoln and frankly right across this region. I have the unique privilege of standing next to our Premier today as someone who has been a strong champion for Niagara, someone who has been a champion for working families across Ontario. Our government is once again confirming that the province doesn't end at the Burlington Skyway. In fact, we're making record investments in Niagara. We're expanding GO Rail service to Niagara, as we saw recently. We're twinning the Garden City Skyway. We're supporting the redevelopment of the West Lincoln Memorial Hospital to completion. And later today, we'll have great news as we're supporting the new South Niagara Hospital to completion. Our government is also investing in a number of substantial skills development projects across the region. And I look forward to hearing more about the good news for Niagara from our Premier and Minister McNaughton shortly. I now have the privilege of welcoming to the podium the Mayor of the Town of Lincoln, Mayor Sandra Easton. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Sam, and good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Town of Lincoln and members of Council, I'm truly pleased to welcome you, Premier Ford. And Minister McNaughton, this is the good news room. We decided that earlier. Also in attendance today are several of my colleagues on Lincoln Council, representatives from the Youth Skills Studio, and other dignitaries and community partners. I'm told I just have a moment to speak. I think there's an inside joke there. So I won't refer to everyone by name, but I do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. The Town of Lincoln Council prioritizes our local youth and fully supports programs such as the Youth Skills Studio that make them future ready. We understand the value in skills training and higher education to help them reach their career goals. At the same time, we recognize the benefits of retaining and attracting young talent to support our business community and the local economy. Today's funding announcement will support our goal of creating healthy communities. When we talk about youth retention, it means more opportunities for youth to participate fully in society. It means businesses across key sectors will benefit from investments in workforce development to help fill the labor shortage and promote business continuity. Ultimately, achieving these objectives will lead to a healthy local economy and a vibrant, prosperous community. Again, I want to thank Premier Ford and Minister McNaughton and the Province of Ontario for their continued investment in our economic development initiatives. Through innovative partnerships and support from our partners at upper levels of government, we will meet our community priorities and ensure a bright future for residents and businesses in Lincoln. Thank you.
Good morning, Premier Ford, ministers, MPPs, Mayor, Town Council, distinguished guests, Civic Connect youth, and members of the media. As the President and CEO of Civic Connect, I'm thrilled to stand here today to celebrate the remarkable progress we are making in developing Ontario's youth for a dynamic and competitive future. Our mission at Civic Connect is to equip the next generation with essential soft skills and practical technical experience to foster the bridge between education and employment and to pave a path towards a fulfilling professional journey. By youth, for youth, Civic Connect was the vision of a group of passionate and driven young professionals who recognized the immense potential within their generation and sought to create an avenue for their growth and success through experiential work integrated learning. 2.5 years ago, the Government of Ontario and the Town of Lincoln saw the value in this vision, and thus the Youth Skills Studio was born. This program is a testament to the commitment that the provincial government and the Town of Lincoln have towards developing a sustainable workforce for young people. Civic Connect's Youth Skills Studio has been designed with specific goals in mind to enhance youth attraction and retention within the Niagara region and Ontario as a whole. By providing skills training, networking, hands-on experiences in high-demand fields, participants are able to gain opportunities for employment. Additionally, we're supporting local, small to medium-sized businesses with affordable resources to bolster their technology needs while introducing them to fresh perspectives and emerging talent. Thank you, Premier Ford, Minister McNaughton, Mayor Easton, and MPP Usaroff for investing in our youth's potential and your unwavering support. These grants will be instrumental in broadening our reach and impact, and we're incredibly grateful for this vote of confidence in our mission. Together, we're preparing our youth for the job market and fostering a brighter future for Ontario. Thank you all. Let's continue to connect, learn, and grow, shaping the future one young mind at a time. I'm really happy to welcome Mr. McNaughton to the podium.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Nira, for the kind introduction. It's great to be back here in the town of Lincoln, again alongside Mayor Easton, MPP Sam Oosterhoff, who's truly a champion for the Niagara region at Queen's Park and is one of the big reasons why these training programs are happening in this region. So, Sam, thank you for your leadership, and of course to Premier Ford. Across Ontario, 300,000 jobs are going unfilled, and 10% of those are right here in the Niagara region. Each of these unfilled jobs represents a paycheck not collected and a missed opportunity for someone to build a better life for themselves and their family. That's why, under the strong leadership of Premier Ford, our government is on a mission to ensure workers and job seekers can get the training they need to find meaningful careers close to home. If you want to put in the work and help us build a stronger Ontario, we'll give you a hand up to a better job and a bigger paycheck. That's why we've invested now over $700 million in our groundbreaking Skills Development Fund, which has supported nearly 600 free training projects in communities right across the province, helping 500,000 people take the next step in their careers. We know the skills desperately needed by employers in Northern Ontario can be different from those in the East and here in the South, which is why all of our training programs are tailored specifically to the needs of local businesses and job seekers. Because training is what turns potential into a paycheck, and nowhere is this more true than among young people who are eager to kickstart their careers and help build a better future for all of us. Now I'm delighted to turn things over to Premier Ford to make a really exciting announcement here in the Niagara region. Premier, over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister McNaughton, for that introduction. And it's great to be here in the beautiful town of Lincoln, in the heart of Ontario's wine country, alongside Minister McNaughton and MPP Sam Oosterhoff. I also want to thank Mayor Sandra Easton. Mayor, you've done an incredible job. I want to thank your council as well. I know how it is to be the councillor, and what a tough job all of you have, but I'll tell you, you're driving the economy here like we've never seen before. Noir, thank you for your comments. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to give a big thank you to everyone in the town of Lincoln for hosting us today. Friends, as everyone in this room knows, the Niagara region is growing fast. It's growing really fast, from Grimsby to Fort Erie to Wainfleet to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We're seeing more and more families establishing roots because it's such a beautiful area, and new businesses setting up shop here. We're attracting thousands of new jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars in new investment. Investments like Quick Plugs, $3.2 million investment last year to build a brand new manufacturing line in St. Catharines, or Linamar's decision to open a new state-of-the-art giga casting facility in Welland. These investments are a huge vote of confidence in the Niagara region and the people that live here. And as our population grows, as our economy grows, we need to make sure our infrastructure keeps up. And folks, we're spending approximately $184 billion on infrastructure over the next 10 years, and that's going to build the bridges and the roads and the highways and the hospitals and the schools. That's why we're working closely with all the mayors in the region and across the province to build 1.5 million homes by 2031 to bring home ownership into reach for more people. And I've mentioned this stat before, but the federal stats came out, and 504,000 people, I'll repeat that, 504,000 people landed here in Ontario to call this home, fastest growing region, bar none, in North America, and therefore we have to continue investing in infrastructure, and we have to continue building homes at a rapid pace. We're investing $50 billion to support more than 50 new hospital projects across Ontario, including the West Lincoln Memorial Hospital and the new South Niagara Hospital. And by the way, everyone's welcome to go over there this afternoon. We'll be there later today for an official groundbreaking. We're investing in roads and highways like the twinning of the Garden City Skyway. And we're supporting the largest transit expansion in North America, including expanded GO train service on the Lakeshore West Line from Hamilton to Niagara Falls, but we can't build this infrastructure. We can't attract investments and new businesses if we don't have the workers. One of the biggest concerns I hear from business owners across the province in all sectors is not being able to fill jobs. The numbers speak for themselves. 700,000 more people are working today than when we took office in 2018. And the other amazing stat, again, the feds came out with the employment numbers. So last in June, that just passed, 60,000 new jobs were created right across this country. Out of the 60,000, 56,000 of those 60 were created here in Ontario. That's 93% of all new jobs in the entire country were created right here by the great people of Ontario. And I just find that an amazing stat. But as Monte was saying, there's still more than 300,000 jobs going unfilled every single day, including more than 30,000 jobs right here in the Niagara region. We need to close that gap. And that's why our government is investing over $700 million in our Skills Development Fund, working hand in hand with labor unions, business groups, and our cities and municipalities to train the skilled workforce our growing economy needs. Whether it's upskilling workers, training new ones, or breaking down barriers to get skilled immigrants into the province, we're leaving no stone unturned, and it's all hands on deck. And so today, we're pleased to announce that as part of our Skills Development Fund, we're investing $2.9 million to help 250 young people in the Niagara region train for good-paying technology jobs, led by the great town of Lincoln. The new program will teach participants about digital marketing, web development, cloud computing, and IT. And Mayor, talking about tech jobs, you know, many years ago, people would graduate here and then go off to Silicon Valley. So Silicon Valley folks, they employ about, and the San Francisco Bay Area, employ about 388,000 people. Here in Ontario, we employ 411,000 people in the tech sector, and it's growing rapidly every single day. So again, we're leading when it comes under employment in the tech sector faster than anyone in North America. And we'll also connect them to local businesses and high-tech manufacturing, hospitality, tourism, and other critical sectors to gain hands-on experience on real-world projects. This investment will connect more young people to the jobs of the future and businesses in the Niagara region, to the skilled workforce they need to grow and expand. Friends, as we continue to navigate global uncertainty, our government is hard at work, building an economy that can weather any storm, an economy that never loses sight of what's most important, and that's helping people succeed, helping workers succeed. That starts with creating the economic conditions and the environment that attract investments and growth and good jobs. And I had a good chat. I had a meeting yesterday with Vic Fideli, our Minister of Economic Development and Job Creation. He travels around the world and talks to so many massive companies. And do you know, he sat down and he pulled out, it was a white binder like this, and 5 pages, one after the other, that want to invest billions of dollars and thousands of jobs right here in Ontario. We're the hotbed of the world right now. And that all goes back to the quality people that we have working here, the leadership in local governments. And I'm very grateful for that, Mayor. And we have the right plan to build Ontario, and we're making electricity more affordable. We're keeping taxes and fees low. We're cutting red tape to a tune of $700 million. We're investing in homes, hospitals, and other infrastructure to support our growth. And we're training a skilled workforce so businesses can grow and expand. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now take questions. Just a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up.
Hi, Premier.
Hi.
Al Sweeney from CACH, behind all these guys.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are
All
you?
the way from Hamilton.
You guys mentioned earlier the Burlington Skyway. What's happening now is Friday nights from 8 until Saturday morning, the Skyway is being shut down for repairs. And there are concerns that this is damaging the Niagara tourism industry at the height of the season. Could that work be moved to some other time, like February?
Yeah, great. Well, great question. So right away, when I got a call from Mayor Diodati, I think it was late one night the other night, and said, you know, they're closing it down. So we called MTO. I called the minister, and we were able to shift it from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. And I think it rotates from the Friday to the Saturday. I don't think they're doing it on the long weekend. But folks, this is what happens when you have aging infrastructure. There is no good time. The best time is in the middle of the night. So that's what they've moved it to accommodate the tourism. I know it's so important, tourism. I talked to the mayor, and he was happy about that. So I guess you can never be happy, but we have no choice but to fix a lot of infrastructure, aging infrastructure that was ignored for many decades. So that's what we're going to do. We'll go from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. for the next few weeks, and then we'll be done with the repairs.
So another question for you about the Greenbelt.
Yes.
Some Hamilton City councillors say they're going to sit in front of the bulldozers and be arrested before they'll let Greenbelt development go ahead. Do you want to see these guys bulldoze?
No, I don't want to see anyone sit in front of a bulldozer. Folks, I just told you the stats. We're the fastest growing region in North America, 504,000 people. Everyone has been allocated their targets. We aren't asking for more. We aren't asking for less. We put out fair targets, and Hamilton, you know, has a thriving city there, and they have endless. I took a tour all around the top part of it, and they have endless amounts of land up there. And even their own city planners told the council and the mayor that you can't just put all the density downtown. It won't handle it. So, you know, not everyone wants to live in a condo. They want to live in a home and have an affordable home. And it goes back to supply and demand. We need to cool down the market, and how we do that is put more supply, because the demand's not going to stop with everyone coming here and our economy growing at the pace it is. And we're fortunate. You know, I have an opportunity to speak to a lot of people around the world and have a chat. We just met with the Australians last night and yesterday, and so many governors. And we're blessed in this province. We're blessed. We have the greatest jurisdiction in the world to set up shop and start a family. And that's why, you know, we see so many people coming here, and the refugees, and I'll touch on that in a bit too. They want a better place to raise their family. So everyone has to pitch in. We aren't asking too much. So hopefully they won't be tying themselves to a bulldozer or whatever they want to do.
Hi, Premier. Laura
Hi.
Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, I wanted to ask about that issue about refugees and asylum seekers in Toronto. You know, it seems like all three levels of government are now haggling over who has to pay for what while these people are sleeping out on the streets. I understand you think it's the federal government's responsibility, but the province is sitting in a good fiscal position right now. So why doesn't the province step up and do more for these people? Actually,
good question, Laura. We've increased the funding over $200 million. Those are pretty staggering numbers. Toronto alone has seen a 28% increase. I think it's about $225 million. But in saying that, it's not about haggling. There's never a more important time that all three levels of government have to work together. The federal government, as everyone knows, is in charge of the immigration. But you know what we need to do? And this is a serious call out to the feds. You know, up in Etobicoke North, down in Niagara, the regions all over the province are seeing new immigrants coming in to our towns, and we need them. But you know what these people want? Because I've talked to them up in Etobicoke North, right by the hotel there. They're all healthy. They all want to work. So the feds have to speed up the working permits. I guess it goes to making sure they have the status of the refugee, and then they get a working permit. But you can't have these people sitting around for, you know, what is it? They told me 4 months, 4 or 5 more months. That's unacceptable. The feds need to have set up shop here in Ontario and start giving these people working permits. Folks, all they want is a better life. You know, they come from all over the world. They hear about Ontario. We have the most multicultural jurisdiction, I think, anywhere that I can think of. So the feds, number one, have to pay up the City of Toronto, and this is where myself and the mayor agree 100%. They owe the City of Toronto $150 million. And I can't even put a number on the expense that we've done through education and healthcare and so on and so forth. So if you bring new people in, that I've been encouraging them, by the way, to bring new people in because we need to fill the 300,000 jobs, you have to step up and you have to give them working permits. Like that is shelters number one, working permits are number two. And so I'm going to be all over the federal government to make sure that they get these people back on their feet. You can't just drop people and say, okay, we're all done. It doesn't work that way. We need to work collaboratively all together.
Thank you. And on the issue of the King's Council designations, we heard from the Attorney General for the first time about it today, kind of defending why he's giving these titles. But I mean, it's such a blatantly partisan list full of former staffers, donors to the party, your own ministers, and Mr. Downey himself who's received this. Are you now looking at this and saying, you know what, let's just scrap this whole thing? Why are you even putting yourselves through this?
You know, I think at levels of importance of 1 to 100, this is probably 100. This is going from QC, Queen's Council. There's no extra benefits. People don't get paid more. Should there been probably a process, another process? Yes, that they're going to implement. And but that's not on the top of our list or anyone's list, to be very frank. It's a bunch of lawyers that are putting 2 initials behind their names. So good luck to those folks. But we have more important issues like housing, like economic development. That's what I am 100% focused on right now. But we're going to fix that process anyways.
Good morning, Premier. It's Craig Wadman from CTV News Toronto. There's a group speaking at Queen's Park this morning that wants your government to license roadside zoos to do more enforcement to make sure that existing rules are being followed. Are these changes that you will make?
Yeah, well, we'll have to look at that. This is the first time I've heard about the roadside zoos, but nothing surprises me now, and we'll look into it. I'll tell you, that's a new one. So we'll look into it. Monte, look into those roadside zoos. Oh,
let me ask you one more question. Sorry if I may.
Yeah, sorry.
There's a report. There's a report from the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives saying that Ontario's minimum wage would have to be $40 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in Toronto without spending more than is recommended on rent. Do you have any flexibility in increasing minimum wage beyond what's planned, with no signs of rental affordability actually improving?
Yeah, so let me just tell you a couple of stats, and this is a good one for you, Monty. First of all, we capped the rent increase. I think this year was 2.4%, the next year's 2.5%, but this goes back to supply and demand. And last year, you know, purpose-built rentals, we set a record with about 15,000 new purpose-built rentals. But this all goes back to what I've been saying. You know, you have certain towns or cities saying, well, you just mentioned Hamilton. No, not here. But if you listen to the council, and which I get along very well with the mayor, by the way, saying, well, we need more homes. You can't, you know, complain about the problem and then complain about the solution. We need to make sure we get the permits out really quick. We need to continue building supply and demand again. But that's what we need to focus on. And as for the minimum wage, through Monty's leadership, he's done an incredible job. We're going to raise it up. I think it's $15.50 up to $16.50, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to be one of the highest in the country, I believe, if not the highest. So everyone starts somewhere. And to be frank, I'm sure there's quite a few people on $16.50. But what I'm hearing from business owners, they can't get anyone, no matter if it's $18 or $20. Is it a good thing? We have low unemployment. It is, but it's tough to find people too. Do you want to make any comments on the minimum wage?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, Premier. It's going up to $16.55. This is our fourth or fifth increase that we've done under Premier Ford's leadership. But it's why we're in Lincoln today and why the Premier and I and our colleagues are across the province, because we're launching training programs. Over 500,000 people now have been trained through one of our Skills Development Fund projects. These jobs are all about bigger paychecks and more opportunities. One of the things we're promoting all the time is the skilled trades. I mean, these are jobs that pay six figures, in many cases with defined pensions and benefits. So as the Premier said, the minimum wage is a starting point, but we want people to live life to their full potential, get more opportunities, and ultimately more take-home pay for themselves and their families.
Thanks, Monty.
This will be the last reporter.
Sure.
Hi, Spencer from CBC News.
Hi, Spencer.
We've seen in a new addition to the lobbyist registry, a developer looking to further open up the Greenbelt in York region. Are you open to taking more land out of the Greenbelt? Thank you.
I think we're fine right now, and again, folks, we've increased the Greenbelt. I know some people don't want to say that, but since I've taken office, the Greenbelt's 2,000 acres larger. But even when they designed this so-called, it's a political name, Greenbelt, they changed it. The previous government changed it 17 times. And I was in office at the city, but I didn't hear anyone talk about them changing it 17 times. The reason they changed it 17 times without a housing crisis, by the way, because they knew it wasn't right. We have a housing crisis, and we can't have a community on one side of the road with all the utilities and the water and everything, and on the other side, an empty field. At one time, throughout this whole province, there was open fields everywhere, no matter if it's Mississauga or Brampton or Toronto. As we're growing, we need to build homes, and it would be terrible if we just said, let's stop the growth. No more growth, no more jobs, don't bring anyone in. That would be a disaster. We're taking a different approach. We're focusing on job creation, economic development, and making sure people, when they land here, the 504,000 people, that they can thrive and prosper and grow. Like the majority of this population has come from all around the world. And that's what makes Ontario the greatest place in the world. So we're going to continue building homes. We're going to continue building purpose-built rentals. We're going to build attainable homes that people can have ownership over a period of time, affordable homes. But we need everyone working together and not saying, not in my backyard, go down the street and build in the other neighborhood. That's not going to work. We're doing it evenly split across the province. We're going to continue growing this province. And I'm so proud when I talk to everyone, again, no matter if it's ambassadors or consul generals or governors or wherever, that we live in the greatest jurisdiction in the entire world. And we're just so blessed to be able to call Ontario home. And it all goes back to the great people that we have here. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. So we welcome more people. But I want to thank you. Again, Mayor, thank you. Your council, thank you. You contribute tremendously to our local economy and our greater economy in Niagara. And Mayor, you're an absolute champion. So thank you. God bless.
That's all. Thanks, everyone.